Welcome to How the Blank by What the Blank Entertainment, and this is How the 4th of July.
Good day, everyone. We are sorry to interrupt this program of How the Blank, the podcast where we know life is too short not to ask how the blank within the entertainment world. This is your CEO speaking with a very important announcement. We have just gotten word, we regret to inform you, that today's episode, which was supposed to be a polished and professional, perfectly masterpieced audio production, will no longer be able to be delivered to you, our wonderful audience. We were supposed to have patriotism. We were supposed to have fireworks and everything in between. But, as it has been reported to us, our acclaimed audio master, Jackson Litchfield, has supposedly lost our audio. It is speculated whether he stole it for himself or whether his pest from his summer sales job may have hijacked the recording on his journey. We will never know, but for the time being, Jackson Litchfield is still wanted for the audio theft of this podcast episode of the 4th of July special. Now, with that being said, we have absolutely no choice but to give you raw and uncut audio brought to you by 3 dudes on a couch in a studio on the 4th of July, Patriotism Day. And remember, if this episode sounds just a little bit off today, try to imagine Jackson rummaging through his computer files looking for the save button. And now that we have this breaking news announcement out of the way, let's get back into today's episode with raw, uncut audio for How the 4th of July.
I actually
Those spinny ones.
no.
I like those too.
I like the ones that are like the big explosions and then the little explosions like around it in a ring.
Those are cool.
Like those are like one of my favorites.
I actually really like the smaller ones that go up really high, but they have that really big boom and they're white. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what those are called, but those are freaking cool.
Yeah, the like multi ones, the ones that like shoot off, go across the sky. The rainbow type, right? Those are sweet.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, so 4th of July, right? Middle of summer, barbecue season.
America season.
America.
Yep.
Food. Yeah. So this episode's all about 4th of July.
Yep.
So what traditions do you guys have? Like, I always remember we would make shirts and everything with my family. Like we do the spray paint shirts, right? Where you like tape it with painter's tape and then you spray paint it.
That's
and
cool.
then you take off this the painter's tape and stuff. One time I didn't realize I made half of a Confederate flag on my shirt.
So you're that guy.
I didn't
Hey, that's racist. Wait.
mean
You're
to.
that guy.
I was like 12 at the time.
Wrong America.
Go back in time.
But yeah, and we'd like at night go get glow sticks and we'd watch fireworks. Yeah, like we would, those packs at like Dollar Tree.
All those really long, thin ones.
I've never heard of anybody like making the comparison of glow sticks as a 4th of July thing.
Oh, really? That's like all we do in my family. We'd get glow sticks and those things, and the little kids would play with the glow sticks while the adults are trying not to explode themselves with fireworks. Like, and we would like make armor out of glow sticks, like the ones that connect, and we would like make swords and all the things. You guys never like played with glow sticks like that?
Not like that, not on that holiday.
Really?
Never played with glow sticks like it's a sword.
Minister. She's been going on about that thing like it's King Tut's golden undies.
You've never like connected them to like make them into a sword or anything?
No, dude. The most I've ever done with it is just make a little bracelet and call it a day.
Ah, you guys are not creative enough.
The tism just kicked in right there.
No, like, so we'd do all those fun things, and my cousins would always come over, right? It was always like a really big family holiday for us, because we'd always do a barbecue, we'd always have fireworks, and one of my favorite things we would do, like, so we'd like make our shirts, and then right before sunset happened, we would play in the sprinklers and stuff, and then we would get all dry and then watch the fireworks and play with the glow sticks, and it was just so much fun. We'd go to the local pool and play sometimes too. Like, everyone went to the local pool because it was so hot.
That must have been crowded there.
Yeah, it was, but it was so much fun. Like, those were always one of my favorite holidays that I always remember, where like fighting didn't really happen because like you didn't get any gifts or anything, and it was all about just having fun and celebrating like America and just the independence that we receive, and just kind of having fun with it. Right? That was always like my favorite thing doing growing up. Did you guys have any traditions that you did for 4th of July?
I mean, traditions for my family changed over the years just because of where we lived. But when we were really little, we used to go to the 4th of July parade up in Ogden, Utah, when I was really little. And we used to go do that and go watch the parade with my grandparents and my cousins. And we used to love watching like all the floats go by and all the parades and everything, like, and the bands, like watching the marching bands go by and like play all the music, and then the floats would drive by. It was really fun to go watch that. And then we would do a big family barbecue at my grandparents' house, and then later that night we would choose whether to go to watch the big fireworks show up in Layton, Utah, or we would just stay on the street and just launch our own little fireworks around the street. And normally I didn't like going to the big show because it was just kind of stupid to go like out to the show with a bunch of whole random people and then just watch some booms and then be done. So like my cousins and I actually loved getting those little firecracker things, lighting them up and then throwing them out in the street. And like, yeah, we had this little cousin that we actually scared the crap out of a couple times because we got those little pop rock things. You know what I'm talking about? Those little pop things. And we would throw them at his feet and they'd explode on his feet and go, "Stop throwing those at me!" He's like jumping around. It was really funny. That's what we liked doing growing up. That was a fun time. But later on, we just stopped doing stuff like that, especially when we got into Missouri. Like, there's just not enough to do out there. Like, we would have our own little fireworks show at our house. And actually, we did have this one time, we tried to have our own fireworks show on our property. It was years and years later, but I think I was like 15 or 16. And my friends and I wanted to do it. Like, we wanted to be in charge of it. And we went out and bought a whole bunch of fireworks at the local fireworks shop that was set up at the store parking lot. And we got a whole bunch of fireworks there with my parents, and we brought it back. We had a whole bunch of our family friends that were there with us. And we lit all these fireworks up. And one of my friends, he lit one of them, tried to run away and knocked it over. And it lit and it exploded on the other fireworks around it. And then those lit. And then those started going off all over the place. And so everyone's like screaming, grabbing their chairs, running around while these fireworks are blowing up around everyone's head. Dude, it was the funniest thing. And like, I remember afterwards, everyone was like, "We're not going to your parties ever again." It was the funniest thing, dude.
Let's do it! Ready? Yeah! Let's go!
So yeah, we never hosted 4th of July ever again at our property because of that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
To this day, this is why Jackson is not in charge of events.
Yes, that's my job.
This is why I stay in the studio.
So that actually reminds me. So like the sparklers,
Yeah.
right? So when I was like 3 or 4, you guys remember wearing like the big baggy t-shirts to bed, right? Because it was easier than like PJs.
I never did that.
No, you never just like.
underwear.
I did.
Okay, I'd always sleep in my dad's shirt. like
We
type of
cannot
thing.
afford to have sleepy clothes, Braxton.
Sorry.
Poor hillbillies.
sorry.
Your experiences are not universal.
Poor hillbillies on the farm.
As a
We're
poor,
lucky to have one to go to school with.
as a poor suburb person, okay. But I remember wearing one of my dad's shirts, and
That's a girl thing to do.
yeah, I don't know. And I had a sparkler and I lit myself on fire. So I was like 3 or 4 and they gave me a sparkler and I was like, oh cool. Like I was trying to show the light on me and luckily like it didn't light that way, but then I put it down to my side and like it all, like, I don't know what it was with that shirt. It must have been like 100% cotton or something, but it like all lit up.
How American.
And
Go all in.
I just ran. I just started sprinting, and my mom had to like tackle me and like
Beat you?
She like beat the fire out. She like beat the fire out, and I think I still have a scar on my back from it.
From your mom beating you?
No.
Please don't do this to me.
No, but to clarify, my mother did not beat me. But she had to like tackle me and like douse me with water. Like
That's crazy.
and like so my mom was like, we're always in regular clothes, we're no longer in pajamas when we're doing 4th of July stuff. Like she like made a rule of it. And I just remember like that and how like I was not really scared, which was funny. Like I was freaking out in the moment, but like after that I still wasn't scared of fire or anything. I still was so fascinated with it.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
And yeah, I'm definitely a pyromaniac because I love fireworks. Like I'm the uncle that all of the kids, all my nieces and nephews know for buying fireworks on 4th of July. Like I spend at least $200 on fireworks to like every 4th of July to do with them, right? And I've always just loved fireworks. It's always been really fun. What are you guys doing? What are you guys looking at me for?
We're not looking at you, we're looking at each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's way more appealing.
Dude, I don't know why, but I can just imagine little Braxton running down the freaking street on fire, just his mom keeps jumping on him. No! Why is that so funny to me?
Because I'm a comedy. My life is a comedy.
Gosh, dude.
It went up in flames.
Little Braxton running down the street like little E.T.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody gave me fire!
So, Brandon, do you have any 4th of July traditions?
No, I always loved going out and seeing the fireworks shows. Like most of the time we would do that. Mostly like when we were in Oklahoma, it was like it would get dry, so like there's a lot of firework where you couldn't do it because it would start massive fires and stuff because it was so dry. But they'd still have like pastures that weren't being used that they would water down in like the farmers' fields, and they turned the big sprinklers on for a day or two, and then like they'd do it that night so that like you could still do some kind of firework. So I really enjoy going out to those. There's a couple times we went out and saw them on a lake because you can't set a lake on fire. So
I can sure try.
we did. But no, and then in my house, like we always had some kind of firework, even if we didn't spend much money on it, we always get something. And so it was a really weird dynamic because my grandmother hated fireworks because when she was young, her brother had fireworks that he was playing with, and he
like a Roman candle or something.
No, like the little M80 dynamites.
Oh yeah.
And so he would light them and then throw them out into the road. But then he lit one and he didn't throw it, and it blew up in his hand and tore his hand apart. And she saw it, so she hated fireworks. She hated them. But my grandpa, on the other hand, loved them. And he loved Roman candles. He wasn't allowed to get them anymore because when he was growing up, him and his brother would have Roman candle wars where they shoot them at each other.
Harry Potter,
yeah,
man.
that's sweet.
And so he was banned from buying Roman candles because he would still do it even though he was like 60 something. So when he couldn't have those, his favorites were bottle rockets, and he still had like the closest thing you could get to an M80, like little dynamite sticks.
Yeah,
The little firecracker ones.
yeah, the firecrackers.
And so what he would do is while everybody's like playing and running around or sitting in the lawn chairs, he would light them. He'd have them in his pocket and he'd light them and then throw it under their chair.
Oh, nice.
And have it go off.
I can explain all my bruises.
That's sweet.
Or he'd do it with the bottle rockets and he'd send it out like over, and he had like these little smoke cans where you put your cigarette butts out and like the cat litter.
Yeah.
And so like he was using those to like sit the firework in so it would shoot off across the road. And then he thought he was going to be really cool and put a whole bunch of them in a row inside the cat litter and light them all off so they would go pew, 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 pew. And well, he put them in too deep and then they didn't fly off. And so, but the screen door was open, and so the smoke was just rolling in the house from the fireworks, like smoking but not flying. And those are probably my favorite memories of the fireworks.
Oh my gosh,
That's crazy.
So that sounds awesome.
Fly off.
I am Adolf Hitler!
Awesome.
It was pretty awesome.
I remember. So, apparently, Omaha, Nebraska, and Nebraska in general is just known for their fireworks show, right? So, on 4th of July, my first one, I was in Lincoln, and it was insane. Like, the night sky was lit. Like, literally,
Lit.
like it was like, you know when the sun is setting, but you can still see everything
Yeah.
around where it's, like, dark? It was like that at, like, midnight.
Yep.
Like, it was so crazy how much fireworks. I was like, I wonder how like bad the ozone layer is because of just every 4th of July in Nebraska, because they go ham. Like, because there's so many lakes in the Omaha Lincoln area, and so they literally go around the lake and just shoot them off in the middle of the lake,
That's cool.
like on a boat and stuff, and it's just insane. Like, I just remember how much fun it was. Yeah.
Dude, I remember, so like last year, I celebrated 4th of July in Louisville, Kentucky last year because I was out there last summer. And so that's where Chandler and I celebrated 4th of July. And it was actually a really cool experience because out there they do it over, I believe it's the Mississippi River that goes across through there. But we had the 4th of July. There's a massive thing that they do where they have these huge food trucks that come by. They have these really cool like events. It's basically like this giant fair. And then later in the night when it gets dark, they have this big orchestra that plays Near My God to Thee and another song that they play. And it was such a cool experience because you're sitting there on this huge grass field right next to the river. And it's just this massive, beautiful river. And they have this big barge that goes onto the river, and that's what they launch the fireworks off of, is this massive boat. And it's really cool because you're sitting there and you can go right on the bridge, which is like literally like 100 feet away from the boat, and you're just above the boat, and it's just out there, and they're just launching fireworks, and it's so cool. But like, I remember a couple years ago when Chandler and I were first married, we actually ended up having our 4th of July thing here in St. George, Utah. And St. George is notorious for catching itself on fire every year. And every single year when they have their fireworks show, they always launch them off at the D, which is that really big Dixie thing, which is at the top of the hill.
Thing.
Yeah,
it's this big. It's just this big.
for the college.
Yeah, it's for the college, and so it's on this big bluff, like on this giant cliff that's on the back end of the town. And it's just tall enough to where they get enough air to where they can launch and explode without touching the ground. But the problem is that sometimes the sparks don't go high enough, and so they explode really close to the ground. And the problem with St. George is it's a desert, so there's a lot of dry brush down here, and it's easy to catch on fire. And so anytime that those sparks would touch the brush, the whole entire hillside gets lit up.
No.
And yeah, we've had to have the fire department out there multiple times. Like every single year, they're always out there just waiting for a fire to strike up.
How little we thought about this.
But yeah, it's a pretty good experience though. But this year, I think I'm going to be celebrating in Nashville, Texas. Or
Nashville, Texas.
Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, I'm going to Nashville, Texas this year.
Nashville, Texas. It's probably just like a little bit. I want to know if there's actually a Nashville, Texas, and like it's
They're
like
sitting
a
home
tiny.
watching like.
Here I come. I think that would be funny. Yeah. So 4th of July, right? Oh, one more story I have. Sorry.
False.
So have you
What?
guys ever heard of Slide Rock in
No.
Arizona?
Never.
So it is this natural water slide, pretty much.
That's a
Like-
rock.
Yeah, so like it's these rocks. It's a canyon, like a slot canyon,
Oh, that's cool.
that has this river that went through, and because of how the rainfalls go, it has all these different slopes and things. So it's like all these like little rock slides
Oh, that's
that
cool.
you can go on, and like cliffs you can jump off of. And one 4th of July, we decided to go down there with one of my stepmom's friends and her, I think it was her grandson. I could be wrong. I don't remember how he was related, but he was my age and stuff. He had
He was
long.
married.
What?
Married.
He wasn't married.
Their husband.
Oh my gosh. But we were 12, I think, at the time. He had long hair, like down to past his shoulders, like really
Ew.
cool, like Fabio hair.
Sounds like me in 12th grade or something. Freaking when I got out of high school.
Oh, did you have Fabio
Dude, I
hair?
had like long hair down to my shoulders when I was like 18 or 19 or something. I think I was like 19. Gross.
Catch up, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, get Brandon hair.
Brandon hair. But we went there, and it was so much fun because we would go, and so what's cool about it is because of how the like river ran through it, there's one part that launches you out of the water and back down.
That's cool.
Right? And it's just because of how it's done. So if you run and do it, you could get launched into the small pool. Well, I decided to go on it, and I went down the wrong tunnel, and I got stuck. And so we had to get my sister, who was bigger and older than me, to go down, and she like hit into me and launched me all the way to almost the edge of the pool.
Wow.
Like of the like swimming area, right, that the river runs into. And it was so much fun. It was one of my favorite 4th of Julys because we could literally like we did everything. Right? We went there, we went to this awesome fireworks show in Tempe that was just, it was huge. Like, and it was cool because we got to just be in my dad's car. And my dad's car at the time, it was back when those sunroofs were really popular,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The ones that like open up, and we just sat on his roof and just watched it.
That's cool.
It was so much fun. That was one of like my favorite things, and we talked about like that was my first time ever talking about like someone having a crisis about death, like in a car, because apparently either like one of his parents or someone that he was really close to died in a really bad car accident.
Oh.
And he was talking to me about death and like the fear of death. That was the first time I ever like remember like actually being scared of like dying. And I've been in so many like close calls that I'm like, why do I have this fear now?
During a 4th of July?
Yeah,
event?
during a 4th of July. We were just talking about it. Like,
it's a good way to scare yourself when there's some booms going off around
I
you.
know. It's like PTSD. I see Nam. But yeah, no, it was just
Vietnam flashbacks,
it's
dude.
just no, but yeah, all the fun stuff. Yeah, I always love 4th of July. It's one of my favorite holidays. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, 4th of July is honestly one of my favorites for sure. Yeah.
I like things that go boom.
And I love the smell of black powder,
Black.
gunpowder. I love the smell of that.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
It's such a good smell, dude. Such a good smell.
Well, happy 4th of July. So, yeah, this is How the Blank, and this was How the 4th of July. If you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Spotify. We're also here on YouTube weekly, and please tune in for the Kim Project. It is going on while you are watching this video. And please stay in tune. We'll be having a lot of fun with that. So, and if you want to do some fun stuff with us, go to whattheblank.org.
Yep. Catch us there.
Bye!